So these are sample bottles I bought probably almost 2 years ago with the plan of doing a fun comparison of unpeated versus peated Benriach. It's taken me until now to review them. I'm reviewing them now because, frankly, my life has exploded in the last 2 weeks and I haven't had time to actually write my usual tasting notes. So I'm going to do a no notes review. But in the meantime, since I've bought these and have them sitting around, Benriach has sort of relaunched their range. For example, this thing, the Benriach 10-year-old Curiositas, no longer exists. It is now called the Smoky 10. And I as much as I thought the like little Latin names they were attaching to Benriachs back in the day were a little bit ridiculous, I think I prefer them over stuff like Smoky 10. Anyways, so what do we got here? We have got bottling circa 2021, I guess. Around there. 2020, 2021. I can't find lot numbers on this. But it is the Benriach 10-year-old single malt Scotch whiskey, and also the Curiositas Peated single malt Scotch whiskey 10-year-old. They make older versions and other peated versions. Benriach is a really, really interesting distillery. It's was basically meant to be a kind of second Longmorn. It's literally was built by the same guy who owned Longmorn. It's a brisk walk away from that distillery. Similar design, except Benriach does occasionally peated malts. They were one of the earliest to do that. I know since maybe 15 years ago, it's been the fashion for pretty much every distillery in Scotland to be making, doing peated runs every once in a while. But, circa the early 2000s, the 90s, no one was doing that. It was pretty much just Benriach. Otherwise, they have got a very interesting signature. It's very, sour, I guess is the right word, sort of barley sour. It's they're very much what I sometimes call the third side of Speysider. They're not sort of that nice, pear and apple fruity honey thing that you get from Glenfiddich or Glenlivet, but they also aren't sherry bombs like you get from Glenfarclas or Macallan or whatever. They are much more herbaceous, much more sour, much more, fennel driven, that kind of thing. Benriach to some extent is the poster child for that. So I'm going to stick my nose into this and give some thoughts, put some water in, and then come back and give it a final grade. Now, what's funny about this is the standard 10-year-old is bottled at 43%, while the Curiositas, the peated version, the Smoky 10, if you were watching this with an eye towards the current range, is bottled at 46%. No word on either of these about color or filtration, so assume there may have been some color added and some chill filtration. All right, but it is the glass that shall tell the story. Here we go. On the nose, Benriach 10-year-old. Sour cereal. Sour cereal is what this smells like. So make yourself a bowl of oatmeal. Take a little bit of lemon juice. Take a little bit of a scoop of, fresh whole milk yogurt. Throw that in. Stir it around. That's kind of what this smells like. It's very porridgey. There's a little bit of pear and apple going on. But I'm really enjoying the kind of assertive barley sour aspect of this. There's definitely some vanilla as well. I would guess this is almost all bourbon cask. Vanilla, touch of white pepper, some like a Darjeeling tea or something. Little hints of burley tobacco coming through, a little tobacco nuttiness happening. And some rather pleasant, like orange peel notes happening. So it's the lemon and yogurt as well as a little bit of orange, like really like a candied orange peel almost. It's pleasant. It's relatively simple, but if you were into this, sour barley profile, this could be your jam. Let's see what happens in the palate. I like this. Me and Benriach have always had a hard time getting on. I've had a few bottlings here and there over the years, especially some like questionably finished bottlings. Port casks have been involved, and I haven't really been crazy about them. But this is very pleasant. Much more honeyed on the palate than on the nose. Wildflower honey, a little bit of clover honey, but mostly wildflower. The orange peel thing is happening, lemon peel as well, but really not as kind of aggressively barley sour, no yogurty notes here. It's very clean. White pepper. The porridge thing is back. Scoop of vanilla ice cream. Some nice kind of French roast coffee grinds notes. Fresh, not kind of used. Yeah, it's less a kind of bracing herbaceous Speyside than I was expecting from this distillery. It's actually rather clean. It's pushing closer to Glenfiddich than I was expecting. But it does still have that slightly sour note from the orange peel and the lemon, which makes this a little bit of a little bit thirst quenching. It's a little bit refreshing, which I'm enjoying. I'm appreciating it. You know what? This is a nice little whiskey. I'm going to add some water to this, and we'll come back to it. It's in a weird place because it's not strange and adventurous enough to get the hardcore malt nerds excited. But at the same time, I feel like it's too weird to really attract folks over from Glenlivet the way that, say, Glengoyne or something can. Interesting. Okay, let's try the peated version. Again, this is the Curiositas, currently relabeled as the Smoky Ten. Here we go on the nose. Yes, farmy. This is my beloved mainland Scotland farmy peat. So there's peat, but it's not the cleaner maritime peat you get from Islay. There's no medicinal notes a la Lefroy. There's none of that kind of sea breezy thing. That's not happening. What I'm getting is fudge, like just straight up old-fashioned chocolate fudge, and stinky barnyard notes. So there's like pigs and wet dogs and cows and chickens and stuff wandering around, and maybe they're the bathroomy part of the yard isn't right there, but it's not too far away. Like it's kind of out in the distance a little bit. That's what this smells like. So you're eating some, you're smoking a block of peat, you're eating some fudge, and there's some stinky animals running around. That's what this smells like, and I'm really enjoying it. Slightly grassy too, which I wasn't really getting on the standard 10-year-old. There is that kind of lemon peel barley sour thing still going on though. Slightly honeyed as well. Actually, there's more coming. honey coming through on the nose with this than there is on the 10. And just a little bit grainy. So maybe you have like some porridge on the side of your fudge. And coffee as well. Coffee with a little vanilla creamer in there. But really, it's that sort of barnyardy peat that is ruling the show, and that's, I don't know. You're either going to love that or not be into it at all. I'm kind of a fan. I've developed a taste for it. See what happens on the palate. Yeah, that's pretty good. Again, much more normal, for lack of a better word, on the palate than it is on the nose. It isn't bringing as much, stinky stink when I taste it. Okay, so we're getting fudgy peat, a little bit barnyard, but not too much. Mostly fudgy peat. A lot of vanilla happening. A little black pepper. Definitely some porridge kind of goodness happening. Not getting a whole lot of fun of those fun citrusy notes I was getting on the 10. Let me try that one more time just to see if they're hunting around in the background. A little bit. There is a little bit of sour, but it's not really citric. It's not even really it's not even really like, it's not even the yogurt note. It's almost like a little touch of balsamico thrown in the background of the fudgy peatiness. Slightly grassy as well, slightly floral. This is good. I had a cast strength peated Benriach not too long ago, maybe a year and a half ago. I will link it down below. And I wasn't a huge fan, but this feels like a much more clean version of that. I could actually recommend this to people at the right price. At the right price, I could recommend this to like normal Scotch drinkers, and I think they would be into it. We don't fix stuff like that in editing because I don't have time to edit. Yeah. I like both of these. I actually do like both of these. Get that a squirt of water. Go back to the standard 10. Here we go. Ooh. On the nose with water. With the standard 10. There's a kind of slight lemon candy thing coming out now, which I'm enjoying. Yeah, the nose has cleaned itself up quite a bit. It's not showing those dairy notes. Those early notes. Instead, it's throwing a lot of kind of like lemon drops, lemon meringue is what I'm getting on this. Along with the graininess, all that stuff from before. That's still kind of in there, but lemon meringue has really taken center stage. And it's nice. I'm enjoying it. On the palate, here we go. Ooh, it got peppery. One more time. Yeah, so the cask sweetness and the black pepper really came out on this with water. It's still doing that kind of fun thirst quenching thing I was enjoying. But now it feels much more like a really well done mainstream just Scotch whiskey. Let me try this again. Yeah, that's and the mouthfeel improves too, and the finish hangs on just that little bit longer, which is pretty normal actually for um, when you add water to spirits. When it's not uncommon for the mouthfeel to kind of take a step up. Um, yeah, I'm into this. So I'm torn a little bit. On the one hand, this is not as weird as I remember Benriach being, but maybe it doesn't taste as individual. Um, like if you handed this to me blind, I wouldn't. It would be hard for me to guess what it was. Um, it definitely isn't as weird as say like Jura or something like that, which is doing a lot of the same kind of weird fermentory sour stuff. On the other hand, what this has become over the years since I've last tried this is a very good, buckled up, fairly accessible Speyside whiskey. I'm digging this. I can't get crazy about it score-wise. I'm going to give this an 84. 84 points out of 100 for the standard Benriach 10-year-old. But yeah, I can recommend this without question. Again, if you can get it for the right price. I would hesitate to pay more than like $50 for this, but there's some quality there. Let's see what happens with the Curiositas. Roro. So with the addition of a squirt of water to this, which shouldn't be a problem, this is 46%, it's actually receding a little bit. There is a kind of bubblegummy cotton candy note coming out. But the peatiness is actually pulled back. And the farminess is also pulled back quite a bit. It's still a very pleasant nose, and a very pleasant kind of fudgy mainland peaty nose, but okay, there's actually some of the lemon is coming out now. But it doesn't feel like it has the complexity it had when I was nosing it neat, which is not a good sign. Let's see what happens on the palate. That's interesting. It's kind of done the opposite of what I thought it would do. I thought usually I expect the wood to come out when I add water to a whiskey. And indeed, there's a little bit more pepper now. But what this has done is kind of turned into a kind of good espadine-based mezcal. That's really what I'm tasting. It's imagine if you peated an espadine plant, and then produce it normally. I mean, that's kind of what I'm getting. And if you just, I don't know, it's nice. There's some cinnamon, there's some vanilla. It's very delicious. But it feels like a little bit thin, a little bit more brittle now that I've added water to it, which is not what I want to see. I'm not going to knock this too much. In fact, I will probably give this the same score. Well, let me try the regular 10 one more time. Yeah, I'll give the same score. 84 points. 84 points out of 100 for the Benriach Curiositas. It's good. It's very pleasant. I like it. It's not what I was expecting it to be, at least when I added water. It's very clean, it's very delicious, but it just loses. This is one I would drink neat. If you were looking for alternatives in your peat diet, I think this is worth a look, depending on where the pricing is. But yeah, it's with the addition of water, it loses me a little bit. Yeah. So I'm shocked to say this, because usually, unless it's sort of, stupidly young, reviewers like me are supposed to like the peated versions of things better. But in this case, even though, same score, my own preference actually leans towards this unpeated version. Yeah, even with the 40-50%, I think I just like what this is doing a little bit better. I like that slightly sour, mouth-quenching, zippy quality. It's nice. In any case, 84 points to both of these. Worth a look in their new forms, even if they do say things like Smoky 10 on them. Thanks for watching, and cheers.